Ready?
Ja.
Hey guys, welcome back to the WSOP Experience Las Vegas Day 2 today. After we arrived yesterday after 14 to 16 hours of traveling. Not the best start for the Caesar session, but never mind. And yeah, I'm jet lagged as fuck. After not even 3 hours of sleep, we are already awake. It's 8 in the morning. Usually the plan was to play the $300 Golden Nugget Mystery Bounty event at 3 p.m. But there is also a flight at 11 a.m. in the morning. So maybe we will hop right in this tournament. Yeah, let's see how it goes. I'll keep you updated and see you at the strip and see you at the table.
But before we went to the Freeman Street to the Golden Nugget, we visited a place called Public US. This place was amazing. Such good breakfast for a cheap price, and they had some tasty sweets as well. Just fantastic. And it wasn't our last time there. But then it was time to hit the Golden Nugget and register for the $300 Mystery Bounty Tournament. Before we got our seat, I swapped some action with two of our friends who also played this tournament. All of us gave away 20%, 10% each. But now finally, let's start in the tournament. We got 30,000 chips and I guess we started a little late at level 3 I believe, and right off the start we get a lot of playable and premium hands. I'm playing very aggressive, a lot of free bets in and out of position. It doesn't matter to me at this point. In one hand where unfortunately I don't have notes, I get it in on the river with top 2 pair when I have queen jack suited and get called. In the end I chopped the spot with this man because he had queen jack offsuit, so a little anticlimactic. But to be honest, I was kind of afraid that I bust the tournament not even 30 minutes in. I'll keep getting good cards, like in this hand where unfortunately I don't have video footage on. The blinds are at 200, 300 with a 300 big blind ante, and we see 2 limps before it folds to me and I raise to 1.7k. The small blind behind me decides to 3-bet to 3.8k. What I've seen so far in maybe 1 or 2 orbits, he is kinda aggressive. Because I'm in late position and he's in the small blind, I think I could flat here sometimes, but on the other side his 3-bet range could be very right and I definitely can put in a 4-bet for value here as well. That's the route I choose to. I 4-bet to 8.8k. He checks his cards one more time and it seems like his cards are good enough to put in the call. So we are in a massive pot for this level and we see the worst flop you can ever imagine, Ace King 3. He checks to me and even though I should smash this board very hard, he could slow play it pre here sometimes as well, and that's the reason I check back. We see a 6 on the turn and he checks to me for the second time. Now I'm feeling a little better, but I think there's still no reason to bet here, so I check. We see another brick in form of an offsuit 4 on the river and this time he bets 5,000 into me. Compared to the pot, that's a pretty small bet. I go into the tank here for a little and yeah, 5k compared to the pot is such a good price. And if I check this kind of board in a 4-bet pot twice, it feels kinda obvious that I have pocket queens. And I think my opponent knows that. I mean, to be honest, I really don't know how my opponent plays, but in the end I think that's a good chance and opportunity for him to turn his hand into a bluff, like pocket jacks, pocket 10s, pocket 9s for example. Maybe a hand like 10-9 suited, but that is kinda unlikely I guess. So after some time I stick in the 5k and my opponent doesn't seem too pleased about it. He rolls over pocket 8s. So my thoughts were kinda correct in this situation and we scoop in a massive pot for this blind level, and I think we are second in chips right now at the table. feeling pretty good, nice start. In the next 2 levels I continue to run extremely hot. I got a lot of premium and playable hands. I even stacked a short stack with pocket aces where I flopped quads. No better feeling, to be honest. I chipped up to about 91k, which is 3 times the starting stack, and we go into the second break. At this point we reached level 9, late registration is over. Top 10% make day 2. There are 305 players for this flight. That means 30 players will make day 2. So we still have a lot of work to do. Unfortunately, the next 4 level nothing is going on for me. I'm card dead for 2 hours straight. Luckily for us, I stole the blinds sometimes and my stack is at exactly the same 91k. The blinds increasing pretty fast. It's only a 30-minute level tournament, so it's kind of a turbo tournament, and now it starts to getting interesting. We only have about 20 to 30 big blinds before we go into the next hand. The blinds are at 1.5k, 2.5k with a 2.5k big blind Andy, and I'm in the low jack with pocket jacks. The +1 player raises to 5.5k. In this spot where we see an early position open, I don't think jacks is a mandatory 3-bet, but as you may know, I'm a tournament noob. I don't know anything about spots, positions, big blinds, you know what I mean. In the end, I decide to 3-bet to 15k. The button behind me cold 4-bets to 35k, and now the small blind goes all in for less, 11k. He's irrelevant kind of. It folds back to the +1 player who tanks and folds. I think I have a clear fold now with pocket jacks, but I really go into the tank and I'm kinda tempted to jam all in here. But then I realized cold 4-bets in such a late stage of a tournament must be pretty good, right? And I lay it down. Fortunately for us, the button shows queens and he wins versus the small blinds. 7-3 suited. We are already in the next level, 3k the big blind, and I'm sitting at around 60k. Close to the push or fold status, but not quite. In this hand it folds all around to the button who jams for 50k-ish. I'm in the blinds and I look down at ace king offsuit. Snap call, I would say. I have him slightly covered and we are up against jack 9 suited. Let's hold.
Oh no. Oh, alright.
Very important pot. Now we have over 30 to 35 big blinds, and that's a lot for this stage of the tournament. Now we have to stay calm and wait for some spots. We are already approaching the next level. The blinds are at 2k, 4k with a 4k big blind ante. Unfortunately nothing is going on for me. I have to fold most of the time and I chip down to around 95k. Then it folds to me on the button and I look down at pocket 9s. Definitely a raise here. I raise it up to 8k and only the big blind decides to call. We see a good looking flop of 6-6-4 with 2 clubs. He checks to me and I think I definitely have to c-bet here. I downbet to 7k. Surprisingly, the big blind now sticks in a check raise to 18k. Not really a big raise, and unfortunately for me, he was one of the aggressive players at the table. He could have some bluffs, straight draws, flush draws. Of course, he can have a lot of 6s as well when he defends his big blind. But yeah, for 11k more, I think I have to call at least once. That's what I do. I stick in 11k more and we see a turn. The dealer rolls over the deuce of diamonds. So at least a flush draw brick, but a hand like 5-3 got there. My opponent in the big blind keeps up with the aggression and bets 35k. I only have 70k left in my stack, so this is the point where I have to decide if I want to go with my hand or if I want to fold. In hindsight, I think this late in the tournament people are under bluffing. There are only 55 players left and 30 make day 2, so I think most of the time I should fold here and wait for another spot to get my money in. But in the end, not really sure if it's because I'm very tired and I'm not a tournament specialist. I stick in all my chips because I think he has some bluffs here sometimes and my opponent snap calls us. Very bad news, he rolls over 6-7 of diamonds, so he flop trips. The river is no help for us and we are out in 54th place. just 24 players shy away from day 2. At the moment it feels pretty bad, but I'm pretty happy to make a deep run here in my first tournament in Las Vegas, and I'm looking forward for the WSOP events. And on another positive note, my 2 friends where I have 10% off are both still in the tournament as well, so I'm rooting for them. I guess there are at least 3 more levels to play, so I went outside for a short time to cool down, watched a nice show, and then off to the cash games we go. So we take our seat in this 1-2 game. I buy in for $300. This game is uncapped, so in theory you can sit down with 10k or even more. There are some big stacks and I immediately noticed this is a very nice table. A lot of older gentlemen that likes to gamble put in money very light, and I pick up some playable hands right off the start. I win some small pots and then I got pocket aces. In this hand an older gentleman in the early position limps and I raise to 15. The hijack behind me and the limper decides to call. We see a flop of Queen 9-9 rainbow, and now the early position player decides to lead for 20. Only I stick in the call and we see a turn in form of an offsuit 7. My opponent doesn't slow down and he bets 50 now. Since this is a brick, most likely I have an easy call here and we go to a river. The dealer burns and shows us a 10. Not really a brick, but it shouldn't change too much. My opponent is not done betting and this time he bets 100. I go into the tank for a little, but since I slow played my hand right from the start and I underwrapped my hand, I think I have to stick in the call here, and after some time that's exactly what I do. I stick in the calling chip and my opponent rolls over King Queen offsuit. Triple barrel with top pair, I'll take it and we pick up this massive pot. In the meantime, both of my friends made day 2 and made the money in the $300 mystery bounty, and that means we earned at least some money as well because we got 20%. 10% of each player feels pretty nice, even though I busted shortly right from the money. I was ready to stand up from the table, but then I got dealt Ace King suited. And again, Ace King suited, this hand will make or break my session. The $5 straddle is on and we see a limp before it gets to me and I raise to 20. It folds to short stack who jams all in for 110. It folds back to me and of course I stick in a call here with Ace King. And guess what we are up against? We turn over our cards and he has pocket 10s. So again, like yesterday, big flip with Ace King suited versus pocket 10s. Can we get there this time? The flop comes Queen Jack 10. So we flop a straight, but my opponent flopped a set, so we just have to fade a board pairing turn or river. The turn brings in a 6, safe for us, but the river brings in a jack. Unfortunately, again, we lose a massive pot right at the end of our session. Because of that, we just booked a small win in this crazy cash game. But to be honest, I can't be too mad. I had a lot of fun playing this game. And I'm also happy that my 2 friends made the day 2 of the mystery bounty and I can sweat them on the next day. After that action, we were smart enough to just have some dinner and then head back to our Airbnb and get some sleep. That's it for day 2. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, leave a like and subscribe under the channel. Much appreciated. See you on the next one.